Okay, welcome. This is video presentation for number 12 on website. Apologies if you can tell, I'm actually doing this in permanent marker on a whiteboard because I left all my whiteboard markers at school, and I wanted to get this video uploaded tonight so that way you could look at it. Just a few logistical things that I might want to mention. Either I've mentioned it already or I can just reiterate. When you're doing your videos, just make sure you're explaining every step along the way. If you're not sure why something's happening, your audience isn't going to be sure either. And these videos are meant to kind of help one another with the problems. And if something isn't quite clicking, or you've heard someone's explanation and it doesn't make sense, that's a good time to contact me. We can talk it out, and maybe I can put it in words that make a little bit more sense to you. The other thing you'll notice in these videos, I'm not pregnant anymore. The videos you're watching of the lectures are from last year. The math hasn't really changed. But they are old videos. Okay, so this is 2019 right now. I've got the problem. I just have to pull it up here. It's a word problem, right? So it's a little bit lengthier. It's got a few different parts to it. I'll read it out loud, and then we'll kind of go over what kind of problem it is and what techniques we need to solve it. So a company sells running shoes to dealers at a rate of $40 per pair if fewer than 75 are ordered. Okay, so let me just record some of this. So we've got $40 for fewer, so I'm going to use math symbol, less than 75. What else? If the dealer orders 75 or more, the price per pair is reduced at a rate of 4 cents times the number ordered. There's a lot going on in that sentence. Okay, so how can I kind of encapsulate that? So for more than 75, okay, so for more than 75, or I guess equal to 75, we're going to reduce price at a rate, so reduce at 4 cents times the number ordered. So math symbol dot times number ordered. And then how does this wrap up? It wants me to find, sorry, the phone timed out. It's a longer problem. What size order will produce the maximum amount of money? Okay, so we want to figure out the size order in order to maximize. So there's one of my keywords right there, maximize. So from watching the videos, you'll know the max problems happen when you have a parabola. Either parabola opens up and you have a minimum, or parabola opens down and you have a maximum, right? Just looking at these two fingers here. So I'm looking for a parabola equation. That parabola is going to open down, and that parabola is going to have a maximum at that point. Okay, so I know what techniques I'm going to have to use. I'm going to have to use vertex formula. So let me just record that here. X equals negative b over 2a. All right, now I've got to take all these words, form an equation, and then I can hit it with vertex formula. It's always good to kind of talk through a game plan, right? So if I know where I'm headed, I don't feel as lost. Even if I'm not sure how to get started, I know I want to end up with something that I can use vertex formula on. Okay? All right, so let's go back to the sentence where all this stuff is happening. For more than 75 pairs, I'm going to reduce at a rate of 4 cents times the number ordered. Okay? Reduce. Okay, so I'm going to have to subtract. Well, subtract from what? The price. So the price was $40, and then I'm going to reduce at a rate. And if we remember our linear functions dealt with rates. So it was always like a rate of change, the slope, times the x value. That's what's going to happen here. Reducing at a rate of 4 cents. Let's translate that to dollars. So now both of these are in terms of dollars. Times the number ordered. Well, I don't know how many ordered. That's my variable. That's my unknown. Okay? So everything right here is the price I pay for the pair of shoes. But the company selling them is actually, they get this price every time I order a pair of shoes. So I need to take this quantity, let me group it properly. Grouping symbol is really important here. And if I multiply it by x, where x is my number ordered, or we can just call it quantity, maybe be a little bit more vague, so that way we can apply this idea to future problems. Price times quantity is going to give you your entire revenue, the amount of money that the company earns from selling shoes. Doesn't have to deal with cost, doesn't have to do with profit yet, just the amount of money that they take in from this order. Okay, so maybe this doesn't look like a quadratic yet, right? If I know I want vertex formula, I want that parabola, I want to see an x squared. But if I start distributing here, so 40 distribute the x minus 0.04 distribute the x, now I've got an x squared. Okay, let me do a rewrite just so it's way more familiar, and then I'll talk out what this is in case it's not clear enough on the video. So the equation I'm looking at, this is not answer, but let me at least highlight where we're at. Negative 0.04x squared plus 40x. I want to maximize this, so I'm going to hit it with vertex formula. You'll notice the a value is negative, reminding me my parabola opens down, I'm maximizing. Again, these steps are kind of just ways to check in and make sure we're on the right track. So if I hit this with x equals negative b over 2a, negative b is negative 40. A is negative 0.04, so I've got to multiply that a term by 2. So this is the equation I'm looking at. So I'll have a negative 40 divided by negative 0.08. Okay, well I know two negatives make a positive, but as far as dividing these guys, well, let me just run to the calculator real quick. That number is going to be 500. Okay, 500 watts. All right, let's make sure we understood what was going on. That's going to tell me the size order. So it's 500 pairs of shoes that would maximize the revenue. If on a test, I ask the next step of this question, well, the sign doesn't, but think about what that next step would be. If it asks for what is the maximum revenue, what is the dollars? Well, if I know that this is X, 500, I could plug 500 back into my equation. Negative 0.04, 500 squared, plus 40 times 500. And that would give me the amount of revenue, the amount of money that the company takes in, okay? So in review, there's a lot going on in the word problems. Break it up into smaller steps. Think about what some of these words mean. Reduce, oh, that meant subtract. A rate, well, a rate has to get multiplied by something. A rate times the number ordered, okay? So that's how I got the subtraction. All that together told me the price, multiply price times quantity, and now I've got revenue, and it's a parabola, vertex formula to get the right answer, okay? A lot of steps. I tried to pick the hardest one, or one that I think is certainly up there in terms of difficulty, so that way you could see me present it, and none of you are stuck presenting this one. If you are struggling, to let me know, send me some emails, be in touch. You don't have to struggle alone, and don't be ashamed of your struggle. Struggle is how you learn, how you develop your thought process as you go. All right, lots of luck. Look forward to your videos. Thank you.